A very good morning to everyone. My name is Natasha, as she mentioned, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that is often misunderstood in terms of what it really does, and that topic is smart textiles. But I'll first start with the basics first. So, what exactly is a textile? A textile is just a fabric. It is everywhere. It can be found from the fabrics. It can be found from the clothing like we wear every day, the cars we drive, and the band-aids we use for healing. So each fabric is carefully chosen for its unique properties in order to be used as a textile. And so this fabric is made from a fabric known as yarn, and yarn is a type of wool that is processed. So moving on, what exactly is a smart textile? So a smart textile is a type of fabric that is made to sense conditions in the environment. It is able to react to them and adapt to them. And so when it does that, it is able to actually receive the signals from the environment. And so when it receives the signals, it is able to actually respond to them intelligently. And the response can be the form of a change of state, which can be thermal, chemical, mechanical, and electrical. So what exactly are the functionalities of a smart textile? So a smart textile has to have, there's 4 basic functionalities. The first is sensors. So obviously the fabric has to have sensors embedded in it that will be able to receive the signals from the environment. And secondly is communication. So like for the overall like clothing to actually function, there needs to be communication between the clothing itself and the person. And then how is this data or like the signals actually interpreted? So this data is actually interpreted in the processors that are also embedded in the fabrics. And then the data that is received is actually stored inside that processor in the memory chip. So here is an example. So we have this picture here. So this is a smart textile, or just known as a sweater. So it has sensors embedded in it, and they're able to actually monitor the temperature and the respiration rate of the person. And so a sensor in this case is made inside an orange strip, as you can see over there. So this orange strip is actually plastic that has insulation properties and is known as epoxy. So this strip is inserted inside the layers of the fabric, and the speaker, like over here, is actually wearing this sweater, so they're able to move about freely. And so the fabric is made in a way that it has holes in it that allow the sensors to actually be able to be exposed to the skin a little bit. So and also this fabric is made using optical fibers that are known as yarn, as I mentioned earlier on. So this yarn is known as conductive thread because it is able to actually transmit electric current in it, and also like transmit the data. So the data that is received from the sensors is actually transmitted to the threads, and then it is stored inside the processor. So in this sweater, you can see there's a white module or a white patch thing on the sweater. So this module is the processor, which is able to receive all the data it is getting from the sensors that are coming from the person's skin. So this wireless module is able to transmit this data to any monitoring device, server, or a cell phone, or anywhere. So as you can see over there, there's a person who's carrying like a tablet. So they're able to monitor the person's temperatures as they move about. And then moving on to a different example. So you can see this jersey with some scarf-like features. So this scarf is made to actually monitor the temperature of the person. So you can see some silver things on top. So those silver things are known as solders. So solders are actually there to like to monitor and also like create the permanent bonds between the threads. So these threads are collecting data from the person's skin through the sensors, the red sensors over there, and it is being transmitted onto the embedded processor that you can see over there. So this processor is actually taking in all the information and then storing it, and then it can be transmitted wirelessly to a device or a server. So I've been rambling about the clothing and everything about smart textiles. So what exactly do you call that field? So that field of embedding the electronics into fabrics is known as Fibretronics. So here I have a cycle that explains what happens exactly when a fabric is woven into being a smart textile. So here we have connective threads that are made or manufactured in some companies, and then this thread is woven or knitted, and then we have a sweater over there that is made, and then afterwards the iron strips, which are the sensors, are then inserted inside the layers of the fabric, and then you can just wear your sweater afterwards. So this sweater is made in a way that you can actually detach the wireless module or the processor for washing, and you can also like remove the iron strips, but then nowadays they're actually making like sensors that are waterproof, so that way they're able to like induce the comfort and the durability of the fabric. And then where exactly is Fibretronics applied? So Fibretronics was applied firstly in 1996 when an institute known as Georgia Tech actually made a vest or a shirt known as a wearable motherboard. So this vest was able to be used in combat conditions or military. So this vest has sensors embedded inside of it that are able to monitor the bullet wounds or injuries that like soldiers would receive in battle. And so what makes this a motherboard is that so inside the shirt, there are small wires or cables that are connecting the sensors to the person's skin. So obviously there are wires because this was like the first prototype. So this fabric also is made from optic fibers that actually work with the motherboard to actually locate the wound. And so the data is actually transmitted in seconds, and then it is then sent to the processor, which is over there. Is it top left? Yeah, top left over there. And so this data is then transmitted to the people who are nearby who are monitoring this person in case they need like medical attention. And so we have another example called the smart shirt. So this smart shirt was made from the ideas that were used to make that combat vest. And so it is used for sports and also like for people who gym. So it has a microphone that takes in voice data. And so it also has the sensors that were in the same like in the vest as like from the other example, and it also has a processor. So the processor in this case is that brown patch underneath, which can be detached. So it is manufactured by a company known as SensorTex, which is currently working on smart textiles to make a difference in medical industries, sports, and athletics. And so this shirt is made to monitor the heart rate, respiration rate, and also the heart and lung conditions, and also the calories that are burned by a person like when they're moving. And so the data is stored in the processor in the memory chip, and then it can be transmitted wirelessly to any device or tablet nearby. And then we have smart running shoes. So these shoes were first made by Adidas, and they were the first smart shoe. So they consist of a sensor, the electric motors, the microprocessor, and the motor is actually powered by a 3-volt battery. So what happens here is that the sensors are able to sense the weight of the person who's wearing the shoe and also the surface in which they're running or walking on. For example, if maybe someone is running on a rough surface and the cushion element that is put underneath the shoe is able to actually receive from the sensors that this person is walking on a very rough surface and we need to actually adjust the cushion. So the message is going to come from the sensors into the magnet, and then the magnet is going to actually transmit that via cables, because there are cables that are running underneath the shoe. And so that and so those cables are linked to the motor, and then the motor is going to start spinning, and then when it starts spinning, it is going to adjust the cushion element. And then so this has to happen in a way that you shouldn't feel that it's happening. So that way people who are into sports and running are able to use this shoe and live a nice life, basically. And then we have smart underwears that are made for diabetic patients. So these underwears are made in a way that they need to monitor the blood glucose levels, the temperature, the blood flow, the blood pressure, and the respiration rate. So the sensors that monitor the blood glucose levels are put in front inside the seams of the underwear, and then the sensors that are able to monitor the temperature are actually put at the back. So they're made in a way that this underwear is comfortable and can be washed. So they're actually made to be waterproof, so they can be washed. So a person like a person can wear this every day, or like at any time at work or at night, and they actually have a unique feature that they're able to like trigger an alarm effect on, for example, if the data received is transmitted to like a hospital, so the hospital will be able to monitor the person who's wearing this underwear and see if maybe they need like agent medical attention. So in that way, if someone at night or is having like a high temperature or high fever, then the hospital can actually monitor that and see that, oh, this person really needs attention, and then they can be assisted. So with all that being said, smart textiles are very nice. They offer a lot of convenience and make our lives less complicated. But then there are also some dangers that linger from that as well, such as being very close to some some electric components can actually be harmful to humans, because these can actually trigger some sicknesses such as cancer. And so a lot of research is still being done in order to actually eliminate that. And smart textiles are the future, and businesses are actually fighting to actually invest in this. And so with all that being said, this was Smart Textiles. If you need any more information, I have some sources I can give to you, or you can just go online and just search Smart Textiles at MIT University in USA. And then, yeah, that is all. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So the floor is open for questions.
So a lot of the technology that you showed there sort of seems to be like in very niche experimental sort of spaces. Do you see any of the tech they're making into like mainstream applications? Like, do you see any of the stuff being things that we as everyday people can use?
Yes. So there are some sites that actually there are online stores that actually sell this type of clothing, and there are actually some sites that actually can help you as a person learn how to make one of your own like smart stuff. For example, there's this website called instructables.com where you can actually know places where you can buy your own like boards or solders, and you can actually like make your own processor. So you can actually do that and learn how how the threads work and how they transmit data. And it is actually very possible. Like, it's something that is currently existing that people don't know about. So you can just search online and know how to make your own, or you can actually search for online stores that actually sell those fabrics. And there's one called like a Gore-Tex jacket made for hiking. So this jacket has like a membrane that is powered by some batteries that actually allow the that allow the jacket to be actually like waterproof, and also to withstand like wind conditions. So they're currently existing. You can just use Google. Yeah.
Go use Google, she said. I like your answer. I've got a question as well. The more these microprocessors develop, the more they find their way into wearables.
Mhm.
So what is your opinion on the ethical use of all the data that's generated?
Ethical use. Okay. Anyway, so are you asking how is like the data being used or misusing? So like when the chips or when the material is made, it is made in a way that it has to be only like accessible to like like a certain device. For example, like the underwear is actually connected to like a hospital. So not everyone really has access to that, and people find it boring, so they won't really be interested in knowing that. So yeah, so it is made in a way that only doctors can see, or like and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my answer to your question.